We'll call a meeting to order. I'm being told we have no public speakers today. That being the case, let's go right to the approval of the minutes for our last meeting from January 23rd. Do we have a motion? Second? Second. Any questions, comments, edits? There being none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Now off to Linda Kleinbaum with the committee work plan.
There are no changes to the work plan, and it is in your book for next month and the months thereafter.
Okay. Next item of business is New York City Transit, and Michael first. Okay.
Good afternoon. My name is Mike Wetherell. I am the Acting Chief Mechanical Officer, Department of Subways, New York City Transit. Today I will be presenting New York City Transit's update on the subway car capital program. This report focuses on three elements of the NYCT car program: the R188 purchase for the Flushing CBT and number 7 line extension, the R160 purchase, which is completing the warranty period, and the R211 purchase, which is entering the design phase. The R188 car purchase is needed to provide for Flushing Line CBTC operation and related service increases, as well as the extension of the number 7 line on Manhattan's far west side. Flushing 7-line trains have 11 cars. The Flushing 7 line currently operates with 32 peak-hour trains. With CBTC and the number 7 west extension, there will be a need for 38 peak-hour trains. With spares, the overall fleet need on this line is 46 trains. To accommodate CBTC, conversion of R142A cars was determined to be the most practical option because of their age, about 10 years, and better adaptability to the CBTC technology. The R188 project is a mix of new 11-car trains, 8 in total, and converted R142A trains, 38 in total. The base contract was awarded on May 28, 2010 to Kawasaki Railcar. The option was awarded on December 30, 2011. The option car quantity was reduced by 20 cars from 123 to 103 cars. This change was due to a reassessment of the need for growth trains system-wide, resulting in eliminating 2 from the option order. The budget for the base is $116.5 million. The option was $497.2 million, totaling $613.7 million. This was an overall budget increase of approximately $3.8 million, or 0.6%, due to escalation. To date, 10 converted R142A cars have been delivered and are undergoing qualification. Next slide. This schematic shows the typical R188 train configuration. All the Flushing Line trains are now 11 cars and will remain so under the R188. Each R188 train is made of 2 operating units, one with 5 cars and one with 6 cars. The number 7 line trains will be equipped with communications-based train control to increase safety and service capacity. CBTC operating equipment will be installed in the A cars. Support equipment such as tachometers to track the position of the train will be installed in the C cars. Shown here is the cumulative delivery schedule for all new and converted cars, as per the contract. The chart combines the new cars and the converted cars. We plan to be testing 2 new trains and 1 converted train by the end of 2012. Acceptance of these 3 trains is anticipated to be in May 2013. These will be available for the testing of car-borne CBTC equipment in line with the CBTC project's schedule. The first new option train will arrive in May 2013. The 8 new trains to support increased service requirements are forecasted to be accepted in advance of the revenue service date for the number 7 line extension. Deliveries of all trains, new and converted, will be complete by January 2016. This is well before the forecasted CBTC completion date of November 2016. This chart summarizes the R188 major activities pending. The base order for 23 new cars and conversion of 10 R142A cars is on schedule with the major milestones shown. The option order is for 103 new cars and conversion of 370 R142A cars. The option was awarded at the end of 2011 and is on schedule. There are no issues at this time.
Before you leave that, can you take a question or two?
Sure.
Mr. Chairman, okay? Okay. You made a statement early on that due to the extension of the 7 to the Javits Center Station, you will need more trains. I assume because of the increased running time. If headways were to remain
Yes,
as they are, you would need that just for the increased. Now, there is still the limitation of going from 3 tracks to 2 between 33rd Street and Queensboro Plaza, which is going to limit your throughput pretty much, even with CBTC added, correct?
CBTC will increase the capacity appreciably. But go ahead.
How many more per hour would be appreciably?
I think the final is 38
38
trains.
trains.
Yeah.
And what it does is, since you don't have the block signal, CBTC makes the spacing between trains smaller, and so you can fit more, you can get more through
Right.
in a given hour.
In spite of the 3 to 2 track limitation there.
Working,
I mean, you're always going to
working
have
within
that
the boundaries.
limitation.
But that's the same limitation we have every place else. With CBTC, as Michael says,
No.
you're able to bring trains closer together. It's actually a 38 train requirement, not 38 trains per hour.
But you don't have that everywhere else because not on every line do you go from 3 tracks to 2.
That's correct, but the additional capacity increase will come primarily from
From
CBTC.
CBTC.
Yes.
Okay. And does the terminal at Javits Center have something to do with that as well? The fact that is that going to be 3-track terminal or 2-track terminal?
I believe it's a 2-track terminal, but there are a number of factors that limit track capacity in terms of number of trains per hour. Terminal turning capacity is one, the signaling system is another. But we will have 8 trains available for when number 7 West goes into service, so that we won't be impeding the ability to run that service once it's complete.
All right. Thanks.
Tom, can I ask a question, please? You're using 142As converted. In the report at Transit this morning, it showed that the 142As are used on the 4 and the 5 line, and on the 4 line, they've really got a pretty bad record, and indeed, they've got a pretty bad record elsewhere. Why would we use those cars?
Bad record in terms of...
According to page 3.15 of this morning's transit book, on the number 4 line, the monthly MDBF is down 66%.
That was a monthly performance. Those cars are part of the new millennium. They are suited for the CBTC and the ability to integrate the train control. And yes, they are down. They had a bad month last month, but
Well,
we're
they had
working
a
on some
bad year
of those.
last year. They were down 3.9.
The trend that you look at in terms of mean distance between failures, the 12-month rolling average, that's the telling trend. Even with MDBF, as you've been noticing, it's been going up. There will come a point in time where it will level off and go down. That's just inherent of MDBF. Those cars are best suited for the retrofit of the equipment we want to put on them. And to put it on another car may impact the reliability of those cars even worse. But the MDBF of those cars is not bad in terms of an overall standard, even though it has gone down on a 1-month basis and the 3.9% you say in the 12-month rolling average. But I don't have the numbers in front of me. Whenever you retrofit a car and you go back to someone other than the original manufacturer, although those were Kawasaki cars, so we're better off, you open up the issue of presenting some problems. So the decision as to which fleet you're going to pick to be able to do the retrofit on is a variety of different factors. The fact that we're going back to the original equipment manufacturer is a plus.
Maybe, I mean, it is a dramatic, I mean, there must be some reason for that. I mean, I don't know, it was 240,000 and now it's 138,000. Maybe you could get back to us just with...
That may be no more than 4 or 5 delays in a given month, by the way, to drive the number that much.
Oh, okay, all right.
Seriously,
I mean, as long as we know what's up.
seriously.
But now I'm going to get to... You had said just now that there would be 38 trains, or the capacity would be 38 trains per hour.
No, not per hour. The peak requirement is 38 trains to run
okay.
service.
All right.
Not 38 trains getting to a terminal per hour. No.
Right.
The
What
most
is-
you'll get with CBTC is around 33 to 36 trains per hour. And very few systems in the world get that. London has been unable to do it. In Hong Kong, they can do it. But 33 to 36 trains per hour is about the maximum limit of CBTC.
What do you think we're going to be able to do?
In the approaching 30, between 28 and 30.
Okay.
Okay. No other questions? Okay. Okay, we said that this chart summarizes the activities. The base order for the 23 and the conversion at 10 is on schedule, and there are no issues at this time, so we can move to the next one. The R160 project overview. The final R160 cars were delivered on May 6, 2010. Car deliveries and acceptances are 100% complete and were delivered within the $3.25 billion budget and on schedule. The R160 fleet is the best mean distance between failures performing fleet delivered to New York City Transit in its history. This type of performance benefits New York City Transit and the riding public as fewer breakdowns in service occur, resulting in fewer delays. The 12-month rolling average MDBF for 2011 was 667,753 miles, which is over 6 times that required by contract. Currently, 172 cars remain under warranty, with a number of field modifications ongoing prior to closing the contract in 2013. As a side note, we did have a banner month last month, and so these numbers have even gone up. There were over 700,000 MDBF on the 12-month rolling average. Future project overview. New York City Transit is moving forward with the R211 car class with a strategic goal of enhancing the customer's experience while increasing operational efficiency and optimizing the total cost of vehicle ownership. The overall need is to program the replacements for aging R46 fleet in the 2015 to 2019 capital program. The R211 goals include providing world-class communications, a greener design, and increased standardization of parts and components. The R211 program is entering the design phase. In December 2011, the master plan was approved. This design process will lead to the technical specifications for the purchase of the new generation of New York City Transit vehicles.
This is about the time when I usually say, there goes some more conversational seating, with the R46s going away.
We're looking at all
By the way,
aspects of it.
when Second Avenue came to this committee, maybe 2 years ago, an R179 fleet of cars was mentioned as the primary car for that. Whatever happened to those? We're not hearing about those, and wouldn't you be ordering them around now?
I'll be reporting on the R179 project at the next CPOC.
Thank you.
Because this is an active procurement, and at this time we're in a sensitive portion of the procurement.
The IEC monitors the 188 program for the committee, and in our work we've agreed with Transit's assessment of the schedule and the budget for this project.
Thank you. We now move along to the Capital Construction Company's report and the progress report. Is it Michael Ruday?
Yes.
Tom?
We'll start with the Fulton Street Transit Center. Overall, the project is on schedule for completion in June of 2014. And the cost right now is trending below the current budget of $1.4 billion. Some of the highlights of the progress is we have been able to secure permanent power for the Transit Center corporate building and Day Street Concourse. The flooring in Day Street Concourse has been installed, and we started the installation of the curtain walls. The 90-day look ahead includes the continue the installation of the Transit Center curtain wall, delivery of the curb and building escalators, and complete installation of 2 elevators at a 4-5 street station that is slotted for opening in July of this year. Cost and schedule performance, we are on both total project and third-party construction ahead of schedule. That means that the work is proceeding at a pace that is faster than what originally planned. So it's just interest to show that in the construction, basically through January of this year, we're about 125.6% of the total plan. So we are about 25% ahead in that regard. The contingency that is on the next slide. The scheduled contingency, the May 2009 baseline showed 180 days. Current scheduled contingency is 140 days, 46 days, and this is the same as the prior report. We have 81% of the contingency remaining and about 30% of the work. Regarding the dollar contingency, we started in May of 2009 with $124 million, and the current budget contingency is $85 million, $6 million less than last reported. I just wanted to mention that the enhancement, all the enhancement that were put in place in order to create a really significant public space have an estimated cost of not to exceed $35 million. We are right now, in effect, negotiating a number of change orders, but we expect that to be not to exceed that. That is, again, well within our current budget. And just to mention that $8 million of this cost is already reflected in the contingency drawdown. So that, as far as that goes. The risks going for critical milestones. This is primarily the design and construction of the additional enhanced systems that we're putting in place. Right now we have actually negotiated some of them, some of the changes. We expect to finish the negotiations this month of March. And this is really, at this point, the only issue that we look at as a critical milestone. Once this is in place, the work is going to move swiftly forward. There is a progressive, unlike all our other contracts, this one has a progressive rollout of customer benefits. And this summer we have, in effect, two of them, the 4-5 Fulton Street Station rehab in July, and the new Day Street entrance to 4-5 again in July. The opening of and completion of the Day Street concourse is going to happen in November, and as well as the new escalator to John Street. And the Corbin Building restoration will be completed this December. For the 2013 and 14, what we have left is the opening of the AC mezzanine, March 2013, that's about a year from now, and then 2014, June, the opening of the Transit Center building. And a lot of the work going on is primarily finishes.
Michael, quick question on these negotiations with the change orders. You're going to go ahead and approve these things and then negotiate them later on?
No.
Is that how I understand it?
No. We are right now in negotiations. No work. We actually, if you looked at today's request, was to approve a purchase of material, and we did that because we were able to negotiate that. That took the criticality of it, because that there is a certain amount of time needed for that to be produced. So we negotiated that and we processed it, and now we are actually negotiating the labor part.
You sort of really have to go ahead with the material. How much?
We always have the ability to order them to work, and then they can claim the delta. So there's always that possibility. We do not like to do that. We like to do the right thing, and so the contractor. So I don't expect that we will not be able to reach a negotiated number.
There's a lot of other work he's doing, so it's not like
That's correct. Actually, the negotiation is with one of our main contractors, not only on this but on many other contracts.
Okay. The independent consultants report?
Yes, the IEC agrees with the completion in June 2014, and also with the budget and contingency, and also agrees that the next critical issue is getting the station enhancements change orders approved and negotiated.
Michael, off the Second Avenue subway?
Yes. The Second Avenue, again, is on schedule to meet the December 2016 revenue service date and is on budget. Highlights, we have up north shifted the traffic pattern to the west side in order to start the work on the east side slurry wall. Excavation at 72nd Street Station continues. We're about 70% done. Expected to complete it in May. We started the foundation for the mock houses enclosure for the 86th Street. This is our next station that we're going to start mining. And we completed the concrete lining of the west TBM tunnels, and the system contract was awarded on January 18. In the next 90 days, we're going to start the slurry wall up north at 96th Street. And we expect to have substantial completion of the running tunnels contract. The bids for 96th Street finishes contract we expect to open the bids April 2nd, I believe, and I'm sorry, it says March 26th. Okay, I'm sorry, 28th. And this is subject to the State Capital Program review. I guess we were debating on a date, so that's what I remember. We will start blasting operation at 86th Street Station Cavern in the next 90 days. So that's going to be a very tough time, and we'll try to minimize the impacts. Going to the cost and schedule performance, again, we are 96% in terms of the actual for overall, and in terms of construction, we are about 114%. When we move to the contingency, both schedule and cost, the baseline in July 2009 was 186 days, and the current scheduled contingency is 80 days, an increase of 14 days over the last report at 66 due to the award of the system contracts. Project has initiated a schedule recovery effort with a target of restoring 40 to 60 days of scheduled contingency, and we are focusing on 86th Street, the 3-station system finishes contract, and the system contract integrated testing. In terms of dollars, we started with $322 million in contingency, and the remaining budget contingency is $339. So actually, we went that way. And although 339 is a decrease of about $3 million since our last report, so but again is significantly more than actually what we started with. In general, this has been due to our ability to bid contracts in a favorable manner, so therefore we're able to increase the chest of our reserves. The dollars do not include $42 million in remaining design developing contingency that is still out there. In terms of critical milestone and issues, again, the dust smoke construction impacts at 72nd Street. We are hopeful that we're able to mitigate that, and it continues to be that way. We are able to utilize the mock houses to suppress the dust. We still have an issue with noise vibration, and that's something that is still plaguing us, and we're looking to see what we can do about it, but probably the best thing that we can do is to finish as soon as we can. And that's expected sometime in May of this year, the majority of the blast, and then we have some additional blasting at ancillary facilities that will go in towards probably through November of this year. In terms of other such issues, litigation at 86th Street Station, Yorkshire Towers have initiated a lawsuit against the project regarding an entrance plan at 86th Street, and At this point, if successful, this could delay the entrance work. The court actually ruled against Yorkshire on December, and plaintiff filed notice to appeal on February 2nd. So we'll see exactly where it leads us. At 96th Street Station, the project was near the critical path, and we were able to solve that. So it's moved away from being a critical path, so that will disappear as an issue. And again, the 86th Street Cavern schedule. This, if you recall, was the 86th Street Cavern was delayed in its award by about 4.5 months due to some contractual issues. And at this point, we're trying to see what we can recover on that schedule. And that's where I said that we expect that to recover somewhere around 40 to 60 days, and that's something that we're working very hard on achieving.
As we reported in December, the IEC believes the schedule contingency is overstated. We're particularly concerned about the work plan for the future finish in the stations, where we think there are a number of activities that are overly overlapped and needed to be spread out in a normal way. We've exchanged analyses of the project. We expect to come to a resolution within the next month or so, certainly I hope before the next report to this committee. We've also looked at the budget, and we agree with the project that they are on budget and have the contingency as stated.
Thank you. Any questions before we move on? East Side Access.
Okay.
East Side Access? No, I don't think so. You mean the meeting?
The last full update to CPOC was in April of 2011, although since that time we have come to CPOC 4 different times and reporting on a variety of issues. Since that time, the CPOC updates have focused on contractor performance in Manhattan, construction delays in Harold due to design issues, impact of the East River Tunnels rehab, and railroads resources to support East Side access. In recognition of the above issues, MTACC has also reported to the board on need to adjust the project plan, and the reforecast project plan and associated risk review will be presented to CPOC in May of 2012 at the CPOC meeting. Today's presentation will focus primarily on construction progress since June and mitigations of some of the delays as we are able to accomplish that. Looking at Manhattan, there are 6 major contracts that amount to about $1.4 billion. It does work. Maybe it doesn't. And in effect, there are the 2 major contracts are the Manhattan Tunnels and Structures, the 50th Street vent facility, the 44th Street vent plant, the structure, the 245 Park Avenue entrance, and then 2 other smaller contracts. The delays that we have experienced in the cavern contract were due to the linearity of the project, and in order to take the linearity out and allow us to award subsequent contracts, we have actually reworked the contract with the Drogado Jadla, our contractor, and the last month's board approved the restructuring of the contract to mitigate these delays, and we were able to, in fact, from their projections, we were able to cut about 1,000 days of delays. So that was an incredible number. It still was late a year, but it was, instead of having 4 years, we actually ended up with 1 year delay only. But what is important here that significantly, since we have reshuffled this contract, the contractor performance has been stellar in the last 3 months. I mean, they have gone and have performed a lot of work to a certain degree ahead of the schedule they themselves proposed. By the way, they will be done in August of 2013 with all their work. So that was it's a contract that actually we reshuffled last time around when I presented.
Is there a specific issue, Michael, that you managed to gain all that time?
What we did is, I think that we did two things. One is to allow them to work on their strength rather than being spread all over, and that worked in our advantage. And the second part was that they agreed to a schedule of very of bonuses and as well as penalties, liquidating damages that were quite significant, and they agreed to perform. Quite frankly, that was being 1,000 days behind. Actually more, they were about 1,200 days behind. It is so significant that I think they realized the need and they were willing to work with us to redress whatever issues there were at stake. So at that time, we have rated them unsatisfactory. That's not a good thing for a contractor working in the United States, and not necessarily a contractor the magnitude and scope of Dragados. So they were actually very eager to find a way to perform better, and they've done that. They have terrific staff, and they're moving forward. Just a few pictures, just to get you a sense. The various places of work in the caverns, the arch form carrier, the waterproofing, everything is pretty much mechanized today, so it works well. Next, that shows the, in effect, the waterproofing rebar, concrete pour, and then the shotcrete work. So it takes you through the stages. This is the escalator shafts. We have 17 escalators in 4 shafts, and the one at the lower right corner shows the finished product. We have actually, in order to allow the contractors to be able to work at the same time, we had to create additional access points, and we have done that. One is utilizing the 44th Street access for concrete material and possible personnel access. This is just behind us here between the Yale and our building. Then we have the 50th Street access. That, again, this is on 50th Street between Park and Madison. And then there is another location within the Madison Yards that is, in effect, the shaft number 3 that is being enlarged, so we can actually deliver, again, material through there. So that will allow us to move forward. At the 245 Park, that will open in June, in fact, we have finished the work, and right now is being tested and commissioned for operation. Now, moving to Queens, we have 3 active contracts that are about $1 billion plus. One is CQ31, and this is the 4 tunnels that we are going through. Then we have the CQ39, that this is the small tunnel that goes under Northern Boulevard. We have then the CQ32, that this is the substation that actually sits very close to where we're going under Northern Boulevard. The one in green signify tunnels that we have completed, although Tunnel A that you saw moving first, the last 400 feet we have not completed. We pulled the TBM out. There were interferences. We could not do that work, so we had to realign and reschedule. We moved that. to a later stage, and we pulled out the TBM. The TBM is now poised to start Tunnel D, that will be starting soon. The other tunnel, the Yardley Tunnel, was completed, and again, we're pulling back the tunnel boring machine. And the two other tunnels, this is the Tunnel A, what you see there, we are pulling back the trailing gear. The head of the machine is the one, look a little rusty on the left-hand side. That's going to be moved actually to where it says D. All of this trailing gear is going to be realigned, and then the machine is going to go that way. And the Yardley Tunnel will be actually aligned to come into the BC. So again, the trailing gear is being pulled back, and the machine itself, the head of the machine, was transported and lowered into the hole. The completion of the challenges here are to complete another 400 feet of tunnel by open cut. That's the one that we did not complete in using a TBM. We will complete the BC tunnel extension, in effect, working hand in hand with Long Island Railroad, minimize the impact of railroad operations, and we believe that that's something that we can achieve rather swiftly, and that will be able to take away a lot of risks, and we're not going to have to wait a couple of years to finish that. Well, what happened there? There were we had a duck bank that was crossing diagonally across that was not removed, and a couple of poles that were in the way. And in order to do that, we had to, in effect, relocate that. That was not relocated by the time we got there, so the decision was to actually pull out and do that at a later stage, so we will not delay the remainder of the job. Once you stop, it's not really something that you want to stop and start all the time. So that's. Oh yeah. This was a decision that since they were not able to remove it on time, this was work that we have done with Amtrak. The decision was that we'll pull out 400 feet, and then we'll come back and finish it at the later stage. The completion of the Northern Boulevard crossing is. I'm sorry. What? If you have to stop and start again, yes, it does, because what you need to do now is to in effect, you have to maintain the machine operation and so forth. It's not an easy thing to do. So yes, that costs more. The Northern Boulevard crossing, although it's only 120 feet, and it is probably the most complex part of the job and riskier. As you can see, we have the IND subway. It's about 10, 15 feet above the tunnel that we expect to create there. We have the elevator that is supported, again, with piles into the area that we are working. This is relatively soft ground, and we have a tremendous amount of water. In fact, water, the way it looks right now is that we actually have water flowing there. So the idea here was to create a frozen, for a lack of a better explanation, almost like an umbrella that will enclose the area that we can excavate. This is supposed to be about 6 feet thick, and it's achieved by actually putting longitudinal pipes that will then freeze the ground. We have been able to achieve freezing in most places, but 2 locations, and right now we're looking to see what the problem is, and we're working to solve that issue right now. Excuse me? I will share with you something that is quite interesting, and we didn't find piles. No. But strangely enough, when we did the analysis prior to that, we actually agreed that piles were not needed, but it showed that there were piles there, but we couldn't find them. So bottom line is it's fine.
The same question, though. Basically, you're going to have an arc
No, and then we're going to build, okay? We're going to put a temporary shotcrete, and then we're going to build the arch.
Yes, but in order to build that thing underneath,
Right,
to clean it out so it's empty first.
right.
Put the stuff back in. When it's empty, the thing that's holding up this whole thing.
No. We take it in pieces. As you can see, it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Every time you take a bite from you don't do it in one shot, otherwise we will collapse. So we do it in one shot at a time. We take, about 5 feet in. You shotcrete, and so you just you do it in a very secure. This 120 feet, just to get a sense, it's about $100 million. So you get a sense how expensive that is to do this 120 feet. Next. There is, this is actually, we make a separation between the civil work, what we consider Harold work. Harold work is really the work that involves the Long Island Railroad and Amtrak forces, and that is it's about a mile long, and we have a lot of work here being done both by the railroads as well as Tutto Perini is our contractor. Could you go next, please? I wanted to just give you a sense of what work is being done there right now, what has been done and what's remaining. New switches, and this is primarily Long Island Railroad with Amtrak as well. We need another 69 switches, 37,000 linear feet of track. We need the new railroad bridges, and again about 4. Catenary poles, this is really primarily Amtrak, 261 of them. Aerial utility bridges, 2 more. Retaining walls, signal bridges and huts, and then the signal trough, again, 15,000. And then 2 bypass tunnels, and these are for the east and west bypasses for Amtrak. And these are open cut, they're not bore tunnels. So there's a tremendous amount of work, and all of this work has to be scheduled in coordination with the railroad's operation and the East River Tunnel work. So that is really a very complex maintenance and protection of traffic in which we're trying to work, and at the same time the railroads must be able to operate in an efficient fashion. So it's a really not an easy thing to achieve. These are some of the things that you'll see that is third-party civil work, and this is actually our contractor, Perini, and they have to move sometimes. If you look up in the corner there, it's a bridge a section of a bridge that is being moved from one side to another. Again, you have to remember that we have catenary lines all over the place, and that has to clear that. Next. This is, again, Long Island Railroad and Amtrak work. The left lower corner, they are installing the track panels, the signal towers you can see on the other, splicing the loops. And so it is really a type of work that requires lots of players to be in the same space. Next. So the challenges in Harold are clear. The railroad's resources need to be coordinated, and we are doing that in order to address our construction needs. We need to coordinate it with the East River Tunnel work, and that again is not always that precise. It could shift from one time to another depending on problems that they find in the tunnels, and we have to find a balance between aggressive construction and railroad operation, and one cannot ignore the other. With that, we'll be back to you May with the report on both schedule and budget.
Are there any questions for Michael? Okay, there being none. Yes.
So, right now, as we stand, it's the Queens part of the project, specifically the Harold portion. That's the critical path. That's the thing that will be probably finished last, and probably will cause any further. Well, I shouldn't say that, but it's caused the most delay at this point.
Yes.
It's
Okay.
complicated.
Yeah. I mean, and
It's not a straight answer,
Going forward,
but-
is there a lot of, I mean, it seems there's a lot of uncertainty.
Well, that's why
Regarding that
part of our
specific-
work is to do a risk analysis when we're it's gonna be a risk-informed schedule that we're gonna present. So that's why we're gonna not only just take some dates and give it to you, but we'll look to see what are the risks and come back with a risk-informed schedule. Yes. Well, that's part of it.
Well, mitigation strategies, just
Well, mitigation strategies that will work. By the time that we're going to have to address that, we have to make sure that the mitigation strategies work. Quite frankly, sometimes when you do civil work, sometimes it's a little easier than when you have to balance operations with construction. That's why in Manhattan was tough, but it was easier because there's no. I'm not impeding any operations. Excuse me? Right. By the way, this is just as a point that the soft ground, this is the first time in New York that we have done slurry pressure type of digging, and this is done in Queens. So that's a first for us. And we have 2 more to go, and we're keeping our fingers crossed that we'll do well. By August, we'll be done, if everything goes well.
Okay. Linda, the capital program commitments, tab 4.
The commitment and completion plan for 2012 is in your book. We'll be reporting on 58 major commitments over the course of the year and 55 major completions. There's really not much to say as of this point. If there are any questions, we can take them. Otherwise, we'll be reporting on this each month, as well as the traffic light report, which will supplement this with the smaller projects.
Questions or comments? Last week I resubmitted the submission to the Capital Program Review Board. That may have been discussed at the Finance Committee. I wanted to make sure everybody at CPOC was aware of that. And we fully expected. We sent it in coordinated with when we have been told by all parties in Albany that they'll have a budget. So it all will converge at the same time. Any questions? Any comments? I'll entertain an offer to adjourn. Thank you. Thank you.